back from the dead.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Got a little bit more Hellbreaker going on here. I have been distracted this week. I have not gotten as much done as I wanted to. But I'm going to get something done tonight. Plan is to get the third or the second area blocked out. But I also have some thoughts that I've had just thinking about the level in general that I'm going to have to figure out. These are general things. So the starting area is pretty cool, although, man, you can already kind of see that it needs a little bit of art. All right. Okay, got my shotgun. I don't know why the doors are opening backwards. They're going down instead of up. So one of the things that I was thinking about is, you notice this starting area right here kind of flows pretty well. It goes right through, you kill every dude, and then you continue on. The next area feels like it's another map. It doesn't feel like a continuous thing. This is pretty common. I mean, it's fairly common, but in this particular case, it makes the level feel a little bit too compartmentalized, I think. I actually feel like I want to make the outside area over here a little bit more a part of what's going on in here. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, but I feel a little bit like this area out here doesn't feel like it's attached at all to this area in here, which is probably fine, but I'm gonna probably try to do something about it. I died! Alright, hold on a second. Fuck this. See this catwalk up here? I kind of want this catwalk to be something that you can use to access the next area, and maybe part of a secret for in this area here. I want all of these. I'm gonna die anyway. But I want all of these areas where these guys are up here, I want them to be accessible to the player as well. So all of these platforms are going to be somehow connected to things that you can reach, like stairs or ramp. Doesn't really matter because there's nothing else left in the map. But it also kind of bothers me a little bit that these guys are firing down on me, and I like have a shotgun. I'll have to make sure there's plenty of chain gun ammo, or if I could probably provide another weapon. I'm also thinking that I want the ceiling to be higher, and I want there to be a second floor up there with a weapon that I can't get until later, and have that be connected to the catwalk. So there's like another floor up there. Alright, so I've got a lot that I need to get done on this level, actually. I'm thinking that this is going to lead to that out there, maybe? But I'm not sure if I really want to do that unless it's a secret. But if it's a secret, then I can get away with actually having like a staircase that gets you into this skywalk, and it kind of lets you go through the level in a different way or something like that. So I might actually make it so this wall has a secret on it, like if you press use right here. Most people probably won't even, you know, be thinking about that, but that'll actually allow you to do the level in a weirder order. Yeah, and that's pretty much that. Yeah, those are my thoughts so far, and I'm thinking this up here will be, there'll be like a ramp or maybe a hallway that goes in here, and then that allows you to go up there, and then you can go up there to there, and then from there you can go into the next area. So there's going to be like three or four possible connectors into the next area, and you'll be able to actually enter that area from a lot of different directions, if depending on how you approach the level, which is going to make the construction of that area a lot more interesting. But it's also going to show like how the gameplay is going to be different. Even in the new Doom 2016, entering an area from the same direction after a while was pretty uncommon. Like you ended up having to go through the same door as everybody else who played the game. Yeah. Okay. Time to get started.
Are you ready? Let's go. So we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead. Hell yeah.
Alright, so you probably noticed that the brushwork is, this is the point in the battle where, both sides kind of clash. Like you see all the dudes with the shields and the horses and shit start flying in different directions. That's pretty much what's going on with the brushes at this point. So one of the things I always try to do when I'm working with brushes, and this is something I can't recommend enough for anybody else who's doing this kind of stuff, make sure that every area has its own brushes and try to make it so that doorways are connect in certain ways. And I realize that when it comes to this guy right here, I'm breaking this rule, because if I was doing this 100% properly, the exterior of this skywalk would be a different set of brushes than the interior. And the reason why you do it that way is because when you want to come back later and change things, which is going to happen, you're going to come back to an area and rework it. Somebody's going to give you feedback. A hallway needs to be longer. Oh no, I have to redesign an entire chunk of the map because of that. And this is when you notice the big difference between people who are experienced working with brushes versus people who have not. Like, usually people will do, well, I did it right here actually. This should be 2 sets of brushes. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. When you want to change things later, if you don't make sure that every brush, like every room, every space has its own surfaces, then when you make a change to the neighboring area, it's going to fuck up the areas around it. Do you see what I'm saying? If I can be inside of a room, like over here, and then just select everything and hit delete and not have it fuck up a wall or a floor or a ceiling of another neighboring area, then I did it correctly. And that's something that's something that's really important to do it right the first time. Otherwise, you're going to end up having to do even more work later on. It just saves time. It's just a good way to do it. This right here is me kind of breaking that rule. In this particular case, it's breaking that rule because this area up here is separate from this area down here. What I should be doing is making this bottom the ceiling of the room below, and then the floor of the room above. In this particular case, it doesn't seem like something that I should worry too much about because it's not going to be super hard to fix it later. You see, one of the things that I did was I made sure that the brushes on the ceiling of this area over here are thinner. That's to give me a little bit more space for the room that's going to be up here. Alright, and that's going to be especially true because I was thinking of making it so that you can drop down from above here and like get those items that way, and maybe even see down into that area over there. Yeah, it's sort of like a secret area up here, and I think I'm going to place one of the better guns, have it just sitting like right here, in a place where you can see it from below, because that kind of stuff really gets people going. Like, whoa, how do I get that up there? Like, what's this? And at that point, you'll start having like requests for mini maps and things like that to give people the tools that they need in order to be able to really fully navigate and find all the secrets of the levels. So that was just something I wanted to point out. There's a couple of spots where I'm not following the rule, but sometimes it's kind of better not to double the number of brushes. Like for this particular case right here, it's not going to gain me very much. It might actually make things more complicated if I try to do it that way. Alright, so back to the action. Actually, I'm going to do a quick playtest just to make sure that this flows very well. Because one of the things I want to have happen if you open this secret right here. Actually, I might as well just I mention it. Anytime I try to make changes to the movers right now, it crashes the editor. I lost a bit of work, but it wasn't that bad. But always, when you're working on anything, no matter what engine, it could be the most popular 3D engine in the universe, Control S, man. Fucking save your work after every little thing that you fucking do, because it's going to crash and you're going to lose work. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And yes, I can't stress that enough. Seriously. Alright, so I'm going to take a look at this. Okay. So I didn't even fuck around. That was a lot. I'm kind of getting distracted by doing details that I wasn't even really thinking about, but like having the sky open right here and um, more trim and kind of like figuring out different kind of ways to connect these upper areas so that it's a lot of different paths. And then I'm probably going to figure out a way to make it so that you can take this up here so that like you're on top and that you can drop down into this area here. So these are the final two areas. This area, I was supposed to block this area out, but I ended up just like fleshing the level out itself a lot more. Here, let me load the level itself. I'm planning on getting more done tomorrow. I want to try and get a big chunk of this in place. Like, I want to have the whole level like at least explorable so that you can get a good idea of the flow of it. Alright, so you see there's like 2 floors now. There's a lot more verticality. There's a gun there. I wanted to make sure that the gun was visible though. A lot of people won't see it, but I think somebody will. Like, they'll be able to see that. I almost kind of feel a little bit like the guns need to kind of have a sheen to them or something in this. I'll probably recommend it, but so like you can see that there's like a whole lot. There's like a whole second floor up there. This will be a door that opens when you press E on it, but it's gonna look just like the wall basically. So it's a secret that you would go out that way. I probably need to put some like goodies over here so that you feel good for finding the secret. Come to think of it, that means that there's like 2 secrets like next to each other. I'll have to figure that out. I also I realized that, see, because this open entrance right here is going to look like this, which means that I set a precedent to the player. The first time that you ever see this detail, it's actually a secret. So I hope I'm not setting a precedence to the player. Most players won't know to press E on it, but you know, every time they see that, that must mean it opens. It's not really a door though. So you can see there's a lot more going on out here. Your keyboard got stuck or something. Started running forward for no reason. So yeah, this is another entrance into that area there. Yeah. This feels so much like a Doom. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when it's more polished, like more dev time put into it and stuff. Probably be pretty slick. Need more health. So I did talk to NX about the God mode that actually just tracks like how much health you lost and stuff like that. It allows the numbers to go into negative and stuff like that. All right. Well, actually, let me get into these final areas here. So like I was talking about before, this area is going to be kind of like filled up with lots of stuff, and there's going to be lots of enemies that are elevated up in different spots. So it's going to be very kind of like you can go through, 2 more guys sees here, like a staircase that goes up here. It's going to be this very porous area where you can kind of circle back around. Lots of boxes. It's a big warehouse kind of area, right? And eventually, the way it's going to kind of loop you around so that you come in on this direction, and then you find like an area that kind of dips down a little bit, and then a way to kind of like look into this, and this will be a final like really cool battle, and then there'll be an exit room at the very end. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So once I get all this blocked out and I get the final pass on the bad guys and everything in place, it'll be a pretty interesting experience. I think it'll be mostly just then about polish, like adding models or anything that we can think of, more materials, maybe changing the textures, and see how that goes. I think this area back here needs to be rethought a little bit, but it's probably fine actually. But I was thinking maybe if this was a secret, but I don't know. I kind of like that it's an easy way to circle around. I can't believe that guy didn't see me. Alright, I'm calling it a night. And let's see if I don't get distracted by Overwatch tomorrow. How did he get up? How did he get here? Yeah, make the start room actually look like a start room. I guess that's all just part of the polish phase, but this right here is like where you'd kind of look down. You'd be able to actually kind of see a portion of this area down here, and like maybe it would be like just a section of it, and have some bad guys actually be active. So like when you look down, you see that there are bad guys down there, and that they're already active and they're doing stuff. It doesn't really sound like very much, but that's the sort of thing that you're not going to get in games like Doom 2016 or even Painkiller or anything like that, because those games are very much set up to be specific encounters where monsters spawn in only when you are in that area. So it's sort of like a pre-canned combat sequences, right? But in this case, it's just like Doom. Monsters are active whenever they decide to be active. When they see or hear you, it's really up to you to like figure out how and when to clear them out. And they can, like this guy over here might find himself wandering around all the way down there. You don't really know exactly where they're going to be. It's one of those things that doesn't sound like a very big deal, but it really changes the way the game plays in the end, like in a significant way. Alright, so progress, and I'll make sure I try to get more progress. This week I haven't gotten much done. This is pretty big though. Sorry, I'm happy enough with the previous areas and how everything connects that I feel better about adding, you know, kind of fleshing this area out here and making this sort of crazy boxy area and connecting it with that. So that there's going to be like a walkway that's up here that looks down, and maybe you can jump down into some boxes. So it's, yeah, it's just a very porous area with a big ambush at the very end. And the ambush at the end will probably use the Reaper guys. So that's that. Stay tuned for more.